Steve Irwin has you pinned down in a headlock. What cool facts does he tell the audience about you and your habitat? This little bugger simulates reproduction up to 5 times a day. Almost exclusively without a mate. Then I imagine he would shove a Dorito in my mouth, and chuck me back into my bedroom. Steve, in a barely audible whisper as he gets low to the ground. The u/squeakiness is an endangered fella, meanin' there aren't many of 'em left, and he most likely won't find a mate. Now if you watch Air, he's trying to attract a Sheila. 5 minutes of silence as Squeakiness stares at his screen, before typing sup to the OnlyFans girl he's sub to. Followed by more dead silence. Better luck next time, little fella. If you see one of these in the wild, it's crucial you give them the space they need, as many of them can be highly poisonous. Oi, be very careful mates. We have to show dominance. If we show any affection towards this creature, he'll get attached to us and never leave us alone. Truly one of the most terrifying beasts in North America. When I was a kid, my parents were about to get divorced, so I spent my time hiding. One day, I was so desperate for some human contact that I sat in a busy place on the playground and looked sad, hoping someone would ask if I was okay. This little fella looks upset, but he actually craves physical contact. I was gonna say. Knowing Steve, he would say a lot of nice things and I would just start crying. Hess a little sad right now, why don't you pet him, give him a little rub. Oi, this Air is a common member of his species, and as you can see he's got a fairly advanced case of fur loss, especially concentrated hair at the top of his head. Many males you find in the wild with this condition will try to compensate by growing the fur around their faces, and this fella is no different. This one looks like he spends his days being poked and nipped at by his wee ones. Note the characteristic paunchy belly and the general lack of muscle tone. This fella can spend up to 12 hours a day grazing, and trying to find a nice spot to curl up for some shut-eye. The first half of this hits too close to home. Oi, now looky here. Notice how he seems almost entirely apathetic to my attack. That's because he spends almost every waking moment pretending not to be bothered by the current situation he is in, despite the fact that he is incredibly irritated. To him, this is just another Monday morning staff meeting. He is truly a gorgeous example of mental endurance. This is hilarious and I wish I couldn't relate to it, haha. That's the spirit. How the fuck did I get 2.5k upvotes for this lame comment? It was sincere but still. Crikey. This lil Ranga is quite the sneaky little one. This particular type of animal can hide in a dark room all day and never even see the sunshine. She will do as much as she can to avoid others of her kind. Man, are all gingers the same? Cuz. Same. Stop exposing me, I'm trying to hide. I don't care, he calls me a beaut and I really needed to hear it. You're a beaut, mate. Crikey, that's a beaut beard if I ever saw her it. Oh, he's angry. Calm down, big fella. Ain't gon' hurt ya. Yeah, there we go. See, he likes when I give his noggin scritches like this. Yeah, these guys like to get all big and blustery, especially in front of a keyboard. They'll be real mean to each other, but they're good folk though. Just gotta let them know you care about them. Everyone acting like Steve ever said something bad about the animals. That's not a thing, Hagrid. Isn't he a beauty? You're alright, fella. You're alright. This guy is out looking for a Sheila but he isn't having much luck. He's coming in late to the party. I laughed way harder at that last bit than I probably should have. Looking for a Sheila has me crying, cheers. Now I know what you're thinking, this here fella looks like an absolute killer. He's big, he's covered in hair, and if he wanted to, he could probably knock my block off with one swing. The truth is, his kind look far more scary than they really are. Despite their size, they're actually quite timid and will only attack when threatened and backed into a corner. Truth is, he just wants to find a Sheila he can settle down with and, who knows, maybe have a couple of kids. Sadly, this fella hasn't had much luck lately. He's the last of his line, and it would be crying shame if he never got a family of his own. Puts PS2 controller in my hands. Luckily, here at Australia Zoo, we have a state-of-the-art gaming room, where this fella can play the video games of his youth, and relive his days as a juvenile, when life seems so full of possibilities. He's getting quite angry when he's getting poked with a stick. Pokes me with a stick. Dude, fuck off, nasty fella. Now I'm going to shove my thumb up its butthole, that'll really piss him off. Awesome question. This unusually large example of his species is known to consume enormous quantities of cheese in one sitting. He is a very stealthy creature, with the ability to sit in one spot at a computer for up to 8 hours at a time. Do you just like grab a cheese block and chow down? This one right here, can put up a fight if you put a bowl Cheetos within the area. Good thing is that this bloke is actually calm because he ate a full bowl of Cheetos. I find it easiest to subdue one of these little fellas by withholding a local treat, Mount Dew, till it settles down and plays nice. Name checks out. Oi! Look at this fella, he's of the hairless variety. Rare and silky smooth to the touch, he actually likes when you rub his head. Look at his leg going. Got a good laugh imagining Steve Irwin giving scritches to a bald man on the head. Thanks mate. Ah, did he find your spot? This big guy is quite greasy due to his natural habitat of an engine bay. I believe he is extremely angry due to the loss of all his 10mm sockets. 10mm sockets are a lie propagated by Snap-on marketing department. See, this is why you take physical exercise seriously, kids. If you act like him and sit in front of a computer all day, it's really easy to pull a sneaky one in ya. Steve picks you/Silio009 up from his hind legs as he thrashes about before giving up. Steve, nah, isn't this a beauty? Just look at the stretch marks on this big fella. Nah, this air's what we call a redditor, and despite their size they're not particularly dangerous. See. Steve begins stroking Silio009's head, mesmerizing him into a calm, accepting state. While not common out in the wilds, these fellas like to stay in their little burrows where it's safe. Have to say he's more scared of you than you are of him. Silio009 just sort of flops, limp on the ground, staring ahead and licking his lips. The redditor can grow to 3 times the size of a human, truly remarkable, as it's always preparing to hibernate. This is why so many people think they're dangerous, is they'll catch 'em digging through their trash trying to find something to eat, but really all this fella wants is a little love. This lad drinks too much. Steve, as ye can see, this poor fella's diet consists mostly of Jack Daniels, which makes him relatively harmless in the wild. Poke you/Jacks again with a stick. The sad creature tries to fight back with a wave of the arms, then gives up. This makes the boy relatively armless, so if you see him in the wild, don't be scared, just wave your arms about to confuse him like this. The sudden arm waving causes Jax again to vomit and roll over, defeated. Aye. She's a little shy but we got her. Feed her some sugary breads and she'll calm right down even with a temper. Now her primary predator is a spider. Once they see her they go right for her. In response she will aggressively scream at it until another of her species comes by to kill it. This one has been known to scream for at least 5 minutes straight even in the middle of the night. As you may have noticed, I caught this one on her own. That's because she screams at spiders while her neighbors and roommates are asleep. I'm really upset that most of these comments boil down to I'm a fat, lazy incel that just sits at my computer all day. Steve would love each and every one of you and he'd have lots of interesting stuff to say about you. Even if you are a fat, lazy incel, much more along the lines of jumping down on the couch next to you or throwing you in a back hug. Have to let the camera see your pretty face. Look at this right bote. This shiny coat means she's been getting good brushes lately. Good girl. Eatin' well, aren't ya? Looks like she was here sunning herself. This particular species is known to lack vitamin D, so we're just gonna put her right back in her lawn chair to keep warm. Crikey, what a find.